Hello, fellow followers. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have for you boutique Blu-ray labels are thriving. You guys know I love physical media, and I just saw this article from Variety where it talks about basically how boutique Blu-ray labels are thriving in today's day and age. Which, instead of me just giving a spill, let's just go ahead and bring up the article here real quick, and we'll get into it. And I give you my thoughts on all this. So, like I said, this comes from Variety, and it says boutique Blu-ray labels thrive in digital age, defying streaming dominance. South by Southwest London panel finds the romanticism of having a physical product. I do like having a physical media, physical product. It's something special, something you own, something you have. And I know there's a lot of caveats in today's day and age with physical media and collecting it and people wanting it and with price and everything. But I think this is good news, and I will give you my thoughts as we get into this. I'm looking forward to getting into this with you guys and sharing my thoughts with you. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. It says, in an age where streaming services dominate, which we covered here not so long ago, not as much as people think it does. It is a failing business. Entertainment consumption, but yes, the general masses do consume, sadly, which I hate that word, their content, which is another word I hate, on streaming. It says boutique Blu-ray labels are experiencing an unexpected renaissance, with industry leaders citing a growing hunger for tangible, curated film experiences that digital platforms cannot replicate. Exactly. There is something special about a physical product, like they mentioned, the romanticism, having the artwork, the product knowing that it's yours. It can't be removed. It can't be taken down. It can't be censored. It can't be told for you that it's bad for you with a trigger warning or something. It's something special that you just do not get with streaming, and it's why I love physical media so much. And it continues by saying, speaking at South by Southwest London's Why Boutique Blu-ray Labels Are Thriving in the Digital Age panel on Friday, Louise Buckler, head of marketing at Arrow Films, love Arrow Films, shout out to them, and Chris Holden, manager director of Second Sight Films, Second Sight Films is great as well, outlined how their companies have carved out thriving niches. Yes, this is a niche. We are niche audiences as physical media collectors in an increasingly digital landscape. It says the boutique Blu-ray market has drawn frequent comparisons to the vinyl revival. Yes, I get that a lot, and people often say, which I'm sure they'll get into. I know I get into the story here, but how can you compare the vinyl to? Because to the mainstream audiences out there, right? To them, physical media is gone. It's passe. It's nothing. So when they find out that people are still buying physical media and it is buying it very well from boutique labels, they see it as the vinyl record because for all intents and purposes, vinyl was dead. Vinyl records were dead. And now they're being bought more than CDs now. But we also did learn that CDs are starting to make a comeback themselves. And this continues by saying that with both formats appealing to collectors seeking physical ownership and premium quality, recent data from the British Association for Screen Entertainment supports this trend, showing 4K UHD Blu-ray format grew 21% year over year in 2024, moving 1.3 million units worth $38 million. See, there is still life in physical media. $38 million for 4K. And I know not everybody likes 4K. And I've always said here on my channel, if you don't want to go 4K, you don't have to go 4K. And I'll get into some more of my collecting philosophy as we get into this article, because I do have some thoughts and stuff and to go along with this. And it continues here by saying, I think they've been likened to vinyl with the resurgence of vinyl, said Holden, whose company Second Sight Films has operated for 31 years. There's that same collectability factor, and coupled with quality, streaming a film is never going to have the same quality as a disc with compression and everything. Exactly. A physical copy, a Blu-ray and a 4K, a Blu-ray and a 4K are superior to streaming. It's better bitrate, better sound, better visual quality, everything that streaming will never ever be able to match. They would have to have so many servers to get just compared, to try to compare to physical media, and it's just never going to happen. It's something special and better than streaming ever will be. And it says it's having tangible products. I've always been a collector of things. Myself, as me too. I have as well. Added Buckler, who has been with Arrow Films for over a decade. It's just so much nicer to pick up a nice box, open it up, read the liner notes. It's a lot of different experiences that just kind of pressing play on streaming that you don't get with pressing play on streaming. You don't. So I think the romanticism of having a physical product kind of works across vinyl and film. There you guys go. There's how they connect, with the research and everything. And it's true. With a lot of these boutique labels and stuff that I get, they have booklets in them and stuff sometimes, and I'll find myself looking through my movies and everything, and I want to see this, I'll watch this, and pull it out and I'll start reading the little booklet and everything inside of it. I love the special features. I love that and stuff. And not everything needs a big old fancy, which boutique labels like to do with books and everything like that. And not everything needs that. Not everything needs that, but I do like that in some cases for certain movies that I really want to own. And this continues by saying both executives emphasize the increasingly sophisticated restoration process that set boutique labels apart from mainstream releases. Arrow Films averages 4 to 7 releases monthly, with projects scheduled tentatively through 2026 to 2027, while Second Sight operates as a smaller outfit producing 12 to 15 releases annually. The average life cycle, if everything goes well, is on 1 to 2 years, Buckler noted, describing the complex journey from acquisition to retail. Some titles will be looking to try and acquire the rights for years. I love hearing that because the boutique labels, like I've mentioned before, are saving physical media because the studios and stuff have all but given up into streaming. I mean, as much as Warner Brothers can come out and say, "Hey, we missed the days of physical media, we missed the days of DVD and getting that second box office residual from releasing a Blu-ray and DVD," but we got streaming. As much as they'll say that, they won't go back to physical media the way they used to. They should, but they won't. Some boutique labels are picking up that slack, and I'm thankful, very thankful for them. And it says the restoration process has become a collaborative international effort with companies often teaming to share the cost. With Mean Streets, that was a collaboration with us and Criterion sharing the restoration cost. Holden explained, we're all taking to each other, we're all talking to each other, all the time with bonus materials as well. Often we're sharing co-funding for each of our territories. That's true. I have learned that a lot of these, certain ones of these, like especially like Arrow and Criterion and like the smaller Second Sight here, they'll tend to work with each other. They tend to share. Shout Factory, on the other hand, and Criterion, though, I will say they don't like to really share their special features a lot. So, but it's nice to know they actually worked with them to do that for Mean Streets. It says 4K restoration has become essential for the market. There are certain things that we could release, and if we just do it on Blu-rays now, people are going to be disappointed. Holden said, we will look at releases now, and we won't release something if there's not a 4K master available. Now that's where I do have a little bit of a bone to pick. Like I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to go 4K, you don't have to go 4K. And I get that. That is the collectors. Because this is a niche audience gearing towards collectors. And with the rise of 4K starting to sell a little more, people do ask that I get asked a lot, where's the 4K? But I've myself on my channel, I've said a million times, I've done videos about it. Collect the way you want to collect. If you want a VHS, DVD, Laserdisc, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever suits you is best. And I know not every film out there, especially with the studios may not release, but that could be geared towards a boutique thing, may not be able to get a 4K restoration. And that kind of upsets me a little bit there that they will say, we're going to hold off on a movie if it doesn't have a 4K restoration. Now, typically they do release some, a Blu-ray version and a 4K version. Typically they do. In some cases they don't. They'll just release a 4K. It depends on who has the rights. Now, that is something that I wish they would work a little more on, because not everything does need a 4K and not everybody will buy 4K, but you also got to understand what we're looking at here is the collector's side of like the high-end niche collector side here. Okay, so now let's continue on in the article. It says, the labels have fostered close relationships with filmmakers, often working directly with directors to create definitive editions. Buckler highlighted successful collaborations with Richard Kelly on Donnie Darko and Southland Tales, noting how Kelly was so invested in releasing the films, he wanted with the director's cut, which I'm glad they do that. I'm glad that some of these boutique labels will sit down with these directors and do that, because in some cases, like with the studio releases, they'll just do them, sign them off, send them out, use AI. And I mean, even what James Cameron did with AI, and they'll do that with other director stuff. It just, at least boutique labels, in my opinion, are doing much better work than the studios could ever achieve at this point in time. It says, Holden noted successful partnerships with directors Nicholas Winding Refn, which I hope I said his name right, on Drive, which is a great movie, and Sean Baker on the Florida Project, with Baker going so far as to shoot interviews with the kids in Florida himself. I do like that. See, I know some people don't like special features and everything, and I've never understood that, because like to me, when I got DVD, when I moved on from VHS, which I still collect VHS, by the way, you guys know that, but when I moved up to DVD and I saw this world of special features, I absolutely love special features. I love seeing behind the scenes, documentaries, interviews, new interviews. I'm not a big fan of like when they get scholars from colleges or newspaper journalists and interview them about the film and how that makes them feel. I'm not a big fan of that on these boutique labels, but I am a big fan of getting like the directors and the stars and documentaries and how it was made and some of the stories now that can be told that weren't being able to be told then when the movies were being made. I do like that, and I'm a huge I'm a huge special features guy. So I absolutely love that. And it says both companies maintain active engagement with collector communities and forums using fan feedback to guide acquisition and production decisions. It's interesting to see what are the kind of deal breakers, what do people want with those releases, Buckler said, of monitoring online discussions, describing herself as a lurker on online forums. So beware, people. They are reading what you are saying. They are reading what you are saying on these forums. It is important to look at those and see what fans are saying and what make sure that they're kind of aligning with the way, with what they hope and what we're going to release. The labels have also expanded their presence at genre film festivals worldwide, with Arrow Films maintaining booths at events like Fantasia in Montreal and supporting UK festivals, including Celluloid Screams and Soho Horror. The boutique market has proven receptive to films across all quality spectrums, from critically acclaimed classics to exploitation fare. Buckler noted how labels like Vinegar Syndrome, which I absolutely love Vinegar Syndrome, one of my favorite boutique labels, have found success with American curios that no one's heard of. That's one of the reasons why I love them. They find these movies that are so just insane. And they've also been getting some really good movies lately too, as well, like Dirty Work and Golden Child. So that was, I mean, they've really stepped up their game, and I just love their transfers. It's like they know how to make a transfer. It's a beautiful thing. And it says, she also mentioned releases like Keep that sold out within 24 hours. Yes, it did. They did do that. And it says, despite the digital shift, both companies remain optimistic about the format's longevity. I don't think anyone needs to worry about upgrading their 4K setup. I think we've got quite a long time before that gets superseded by something else, Buckler said. I really don't personally, I really don't think we'll ever get the 8K disc, 8K players. I think 4K is the last format that we will get on physical media. You never really know, but I personally, I don't think we'll ever make it there. I think this is the last stop for physical media is 4K. Says, when asked to recommend other UK boutique labels, both executive praised the work of their peers. Buckler endorsed Radiance, noting that founder Fran Simonio, which I hope I said that name right, had worked at Arrow for many years before launching his own venture. He did some really amazing stuff there, and it's really cool to see him go off on his own and follow his passion and release some really incredible stuff, she said. Holden praised Indicator, citing their focus, direction, and curation. I think just because they've set the story and going to a particular direction and the kind of films that they release, he said. The panel also gave a shout out to Second Run and 88 Films, great boutique labels all around for these. The panel underscored how boutique Blu-ray labels are successful positioning physical media as premium collectors that offer curated experiences unavailable through streaming platforms. Exactly. It just, there's physical media will always be superior format. That's what I mean when I say the superior format. It will always be better than streaming in any form, any way, shape, or form, and it will always be there for you. And it's just something special about owning that and collecting it and just having that. It says, as Holden said, the boutique approach provides owning a film in the way that streaming, and even if you bought it online, you don't have that same feeling. You don't, because you will never own digital and you will never own streaming movies. Now, I understand, like I mentioned earlier, for the masses and the general world, whatever, streaming will always be there for them. And the problem with the studios is that they've sunk all that money into streaming, right? And people became comfortable. The masses have become comfortable with the streaming, and they're not making the studios aren't making money on them. They miss physical media, and so they've dug this bed where they've destroyed their industry basically. And luckily, there are boutique labels that are making these physical media releases for people like myself who love physical media. Now, like I said, you don't have to buy the 4K. You don't have to buy the boutique labels. I know in today's day and age, a lot of physical media prices have gone up, but that is, once it becomes a niche thing and becomes a collectible thing, that is a caveat that happens. It's not for everybody, and it will drive some of the collectors out of collecting. It really will. Me personally, if I have the money and if it's a movie I want and it's something that I really care for, I'm going to buy it. To me, price doesn't matter in that sense. But I've scaled back on buying a lot of things because now I only buy what I want to buy, that I foresee myself watching in the future. I don't need to buy every single Vinegar Syndrome Arrow release. I don't need to. I'll never watch all of them. And I do have to save some money. So there are caveats. There's give and takes with all this in the end. But in the end, I love to hear that boutique labels are thriving and that physical media is still available and will still be available. And the Outcast looks good. I'm always trying to keep it positive here. I'm not a doom and gloomer. Physical media is dead or dying. The only thing I really like to say is like streaming is dead or dying. I loved reading that article that I did where streaming is dead. But I know they have to work hand in hand. But let me know your guys' thoughts about all this in the comment section down below. What are some of your favorite boutique labels? What are your thoughts on physical media thriving and what you collect and everything? Leave that all down below. And if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hit that bell for notifications. That'd be awesome, my friend. Your guys' subscriptions. Possibly share the video out for everybody to see or join and become a channel member because that'll help out my channel immensely. Thank you and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here and for all of your support. And to everybody watching, whether you like me, hated me, or like this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever you all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media because it truly is the superior format now more than ever. Godspeed, everybody.